I'm looking forward to watching Angel Reese in Unrivaled because I want to see how she looks back on the basketball court. I'm not one of these people who says she's not working on her game because she's doing other things. In fact, she has posted pics from the gym, and there are specific things in her game she clearly needs to work on. Obviously, finishing at the rim is number one. Developing a shot, a go to move, those sort of things can continue to grow her game and amplify what she does really well. What she does really well is something that is transferable, right? Like when you rebound like she does and you play defense like she does, then you can help any team. And I think it's why she stood out in the All Star game. I mean, Angel was great in the All Star game. She's playing off those other stars. In order to be her own star in a certain sense, at least beyond, those sorts of that sort of recognition of the boards and the D and the Rodman style of thing, or Andre Drummond, if you're being less flattering, right? She needs to develop that offensive game and finish around the bucket and extend her range and all these things. But she is very young. And I think we forget sometimes, and maybe I do too, how young some of these athletes are. I mean, Angel Reese is just over 20 years old. Long way to go. I look back where I was, and she's making big time moves. And she's out there on the scene, and you see her where her celebrity status is something. It's more, I call it, it's kind of like influencer kind of in a way because she's much more out there on social media. But nonetheless, it doesn't matter. Brands want to be attached to her. She's got the cereal boxes in stores. That's a huge sponsorship. That's huge. So when people said the thing about her money, when she said she couldn't pay her bills on her WNBA salary, I didn't think she needed to make that comment because it's a kind of a shot at the WNBA and it was going to blow up. But clearly, the girl is making a lot of cash. In fact, she's got a new Cash App commercial that she did a really nice job in. So Angel's star status is solidified, and brands really want to be attached to her, and that's a great thing for her. And she can do her own thing. Her podcast, she's been putting out weekly. Some of the guests I just don't really care about, so I'm not really locked in, but so what? And when you're as out there as Angel is, you're gonna say some stuff that annoys me. It is what it is. But I think the best thing for Reese is to be viewed separately from Caitlin Clark. And they were tied together so much with the LSU Iowa thing and the Rookie of the Year debate and everything that transpired, and it probably led to me criticizing Angel because I was trying to make the point that one player was clearly better than the other. But that doesn't throw the other player away or their potential away or do anything to dim their shine. And I feel like that's starting to happen now. And hopefully, I think Angel at times has mentioned Clark because she knows it's going to get clicks and clout and all that. Like it was the bottom line is it was the thumbnail and the title of her first episode, I believe, and all that. And everybody who wants to interview her is going to want to ask her about that too. That's not her fault. But she was online and got her Kevin Durant online because somebody got in her comments and responded to her. So I just want to set the context for this before anybody jumps on her for replying. This is Angel. I guess I'm blocked by the person who originally posted this post. I don't know why I would be blocked, but whatever. She says, appreciate you to that person. And then the next person says, you realize you can't make a layup on the first try most times, right? All right, that's a valid criticism, right? Like her shooting is a valid criticism. And Angel replies, do you realize I got drafted 7th in my class while missing layups as a rookie, shooting 39% on the year, and was still an all-star, and that was the worst you'll ever see me, or you just laid up with your dog at home hating at him? And again, it's a completely valid critique to say Angel doesn't finish well enough around the rim because she doesn't. It is not good enough for the volume of shots, even with her rebounding, which makes up for some of it, by the way, because, people act like you're not supposed to rebound your own misses. That's what they teach you. One of the first things you're taught in basketball is to follow your own shot. And Angel is relentless in following her own shot. So some of those misses turn into buckets. That field goal percentage is actually higher, I would imagine, if you account for the misses that she then eventually puts back in. Regardless, it is something that needs to be addressed and must be higher for a player at her position who's shooting from the position that she's shooting from. But when she's talking about something else and some rando comes in and brings it up to her, like who replies to people like that? And you could say ignore it and have thick skin, and plenty of people do. But Angel's clearly very online. You don't manage all these brands and be this active on social without actually being online. And everybody else is allowed to respond to people online. I'm allowed to respond to people online. Nobody's going to be like, Robin, what are you doing? And I know I'm not of Angel Reese's celebrity status, but to each their own. As long as it's not taking away from her team or the game or becoming, exhausting. Kevin Durant is known for this. Kevin Durant, I mean, look behind me. That was Kevin Durant replying to me online. And he replies to a lot of people online. He claps, and he's gotten criticism for it over the years. But has it affected his game or his career? No. He just chooses to do so. So I could see Angel hearing about this all the time, over and over, and somebody just shows up when she's not talking about that and says that for no reason. So yeah, clap back. That's cool. I respect it. And then, I'm sure you'll get people piling on her because she's a lightning rod. But so what? So what? She replied to somebody online. So what? So I hope for Angel's continued success in everything else she's doing. And I know because she's done so much off the court, people have wondered if her future could be in off the court endeavors. But all of this came from basketball. Like her fame came from basketball. And I get it. She posts pictures in risque outfits or whatever. Angel's a good looking girl. She can do what she wants. And clearly she is using her sex appeal to sell. I think she would tell you that too. But all of it, none of her fame was based on that. It was based on basketball. It was based on being a really good player at LSU. It was based on being a really good player in a rookie year, because you can have the criticisms if you want, but she still did break rebounding records. She still did make the All-Star team. She still does have a future in front of her in basketball and can get better and can become a star-level player if she can develop that shot, if she can develop that go-to move, and if she can finish around the basket. But I didn't have a problem with her clapping back at that fan. We'll see. If it becomes ubiquitous and it never stops, it might be like, all right, pump the brakes, Angel. But not everybody's going to be online. Not everybody's going to choose to do that. Obviously, there are some players, most notably the player I don't want to keep mentioning her next to, doesn't really do that stuff, at least, responding to critics and haters. But that doesn't mean somebody else can't. And it hasn't exactly been a problem for Kevin Durant. But for me, I probably haven't talked about Angel much because I want to see her on the basketball court. And I'm looking forward to seeing how she improves.